Hey guys, Sonic Smash Bro here, and as mentioned at the end of the last video, it's time. Synchron Quasar for the July 2023 post-ban list format. AKA the worst format Duel Links has seen in a long time, and one of the worst in the game's history. But the good news is for us Synchron boys, we can combat the meta. We just had to change things up a good bit. Yeah, with Tatsunoko being limit 3'd, the Jet and Doppel combo is no longer viable. Believe me, I've tried. So we had to change things up quite a lot and have new combo routes ready. But the more things change, the more they stay the same. Let's look at a Bond Illuminates the future. And since it's been a while, let's go into detail with this one. Each of the following effects can only be used once per duel, and you can change the position of set cards that were set by this skill. The first effect: send one Synchron monster or one level 2 Wind Warrior monster with 1000 or less attack from your hand to your graveyard. Then add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand, and set one Synchro Chase from outside of your deck. So, Synchro Chase. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the effect activations of your Synchro monsters with Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust in their original names. If you Synchro summon a Warrior, Synchron, or Stardust Synchro monster, you can target one monster in your graveyard using its material, and special summon it in defense position once per turn. One of the absolute best cards to get from an effect. I love this thing. It's amazing. Second effect: send all monsters you control to the graveyard. If the total of the original attack of the monsters sent to the graveyard is a combined 2500 or more, set 2 random Signer Dragons with different names out of the 4 from outside of your deck. So this can set the following: Red Dragon Archfiend, Jack Atlas's Signer Dragon. Black Rose Dragon, Akiza Izinski's or Aki Izuyo's Signer Dragon. Yes, much like the first time, I'm going to mention the Japanese names as well. Ancient Fairy Dragon, Luna or Luca's Signer Dragon. And Black Winged Dragon, Crow Hogan's Signer Dragon, but Dub never mentioned the last name, and I think we know why. And the final effect can be used during turn 3 and onward. Return one Stardust Dragon from your field or graveyard to your extra deck, then change the level of all Synchro monsters you currently control to level 2, and set one Lifestream Dragon from outside of your deck. This is Leo or Lua's Signer Dragon, and it's a tuner, putting you in the perfect position to Synchro summon Shooting Quasar Dragon. This skill can only be used if you begin a duel with an extra deck that contains a level 10 or higher light monster and no monsters other than Synchro monsters, and a main deck that contains at least 7 level 2 or lower Warrior type or Machine type monsters. So let's look into this list, shall we? One thing that hasn't changed is Double Junk Synchron, still a classic. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one level 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but its effects are negated. There is one exception to the rule, and it's really weird. I'll get to that later. Double Junk Converter. You can discard this card and one tuner and add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, you can target one tuner in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but it cannot activate its effects this turn. Really nice to have on board. And if you can see this card in your opening hand, you want to. Not both of them obviously, but you still want to see it. Double Synchron Explorer. When this card is normal summoned, you can target one Synchron monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated. The newest addition, starting things off, Double Mono Synchron. When using this card as Synchro material, the other Synchro materials must be level 4 or lower Warrior type or Machine type monsters, and they are treated as level 1. Bear this in mind. When summoned via Junk Synchron or Synchron Explorer, even though the effect is technically negated, it's still active. You will still be treating the monsters used with this thing as level 1. So bear that in mind. And the final new addition, Synchron Carrier. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Synchron monster in addition to your normal summon or set once per turn. If another Synchron monster is sent to your graveyard as a Synchro material for the Synchro summon of a Warrior type or Machine type Synchro monster while you control this card, you can special summon one Synchron token, a level 2 Earth Machine type monster with 1000 attack and 0 defense. This part almost never comes up, and the very rare times it does, it's kind of funny. But it pretty much never happens. That's it for monsters. On the spells, no traps. Double Book of Moon, target a face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. Monster effects are actually the bigger problem right now, believe it or not. Yes, back row is still toxic, but there are a lot of overbearing monster effects still in the game. Dingirsu, Crystal Wing, Doom Rider, Steel Swarm Roach, things like that, and we just need to get around all that. We still have a Forbidden Lance in here though. Target a face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. That target loses 800 attack, but it's unaffected by the effects of other spell or trap cards. Triple Cosmic Cyclone, pay 1000, target a spell or trap on the field, and banish it. You may be wondering, why don't I just do double Cosmic, double Lance? Two major reasons. Number one, Orcus post-ban list is playing Orchestrated Babel. We need to make sure that isn't in play for very long. And for two, Pendulum Scales. You can't exactly get rid of those with Forbidden Lance, now can you? So yeah, that's why I go triple Cosmic, single Lance, but if you want to do double Cosmic, double Lance, go ahead. I just prefer it this way. Next up, double tuning. Add a Synchron tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. Classic, and 2 of our limit 3 slots. Spoiler alert, we don't use the last one. This is all we need. And lastly, triple Forbidden Chalice. Target a face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. It gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. Biggest reason we do triple Chalice? Well, again, monster effects are the biggest issue right now, but Goki is coming back. We can't afford to let Master Ogre run its game. Just saying. That's it for the main deck. Onto the extra deck. Shooting Quasar Dragon, still the heaviest hitter in the deck. Must be Synchro summoned and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card's maximum number of attacks per battle phase equals the number of non-tuner monsters used as its Synchro material. So at minimum, it's always attacking twice. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. When this card leaves the field, you can special summon one Shooting Star Dragon from your extra deck. Speaking of Shooting Star Dragon, it's in here as well. Once per turn, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, shuffle them back in. Also, this card's maximum number of attacks per battle phase this turn equals the number of tuner monsters excavated this way. Once per turn during either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card in the field, you can negate the effect, and if you do, destroy that card. And once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, banish this card, and if you do, negate that attack, and during the end phase, special summon this card banished by this effect. Unless it floats in from Shooting Quasar Dragon, then it will not return to the field. I've learned this the hard way. So I'm gonna be honest with you here. This one extra deck slot is purely used for a float in from another monster, so you have to make a choice. Do you float into Shooting Star Dragon from Shooting Quasar Dragon, or Jet Warrior from Stardust Warrior? That's the decision you have to make, and it's a matter of preference. Pick either one. Speaking of Stardust Warrior, during either player's turn, if your opponent would special summon monsters not through an effect, you can tribute this card, negate the summons, and if you do, destroy those monsters. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this face-up card you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1/8 or lower Warrior Synchro monster from your extra deck, and it's treated as a Synchro summon. Now, I have to mention face-up here, because if a Orcus decides to Book of Moon your Stardust Warrior, and then send it to the graveyard with Ningirsu, you don't get the effect off. It's annoying. But anyway, our new main oppression here, the Limit 1 Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This card is polarizing, and for a good reason. Once per turn, during either player's turn, when another monster's effect is activated, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster, and if you do that, this card gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. If this card battles a level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls during damage calculation, this card gains attack equal to the current attack of the opponent's monster it is battling during that damage calculation only. You would be surprised how many people don't read this effect. It's funny. So yeah, Crystal Wing is kind of polarizing. It's very over-centralizing for us Synchro boys right now. But what can you do? Stardust Dragon, still a classic. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that would destroy a card on the field, you contribute this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. During the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn and was not negated, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. Formula Synchron is still in here. When this card is synchro summoned, you can draw one card, and once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can basically just excel Synchro. And it's amazing. Catapult Warrior, once per turn you contribute one junk monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to half of the original attack of the attributed monster. You may be wondering, why not Junk Warrior? One simple reason. Clear Wing. If they have a Clear Wing on board, Junk Warrior is kind of a forced effect activate, and we have to chain other things in the meantime, which means Clear Wing is open to stop Junk Warrior. Yeah. And last but not least is the Scarred Warrior. Your opponent cannot target face-up warrior-type monsters for attacks, except for this one. Once per turn, if this card would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Unlike the previous list, this basically never comes up. These two are pretty much just synchro climbing material. That is it for the extra deck. There is one alternative card I will recommend in here, and that's what I mentioned earlier. As a float-in from Stardust Warrior, if you don't think Quasar is that good of a float target, you can run Jet Warrior, because Stardust Warrior's float is treated as a synchro summon. If this card is synchro summoned, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you contribute one level 2 or lower monster, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. Now, in the replays, Jet Warrior was in the extra deck and not Shooting Star, but I'm going to spoil it for you right now. Neither one would have come up anyway, because there is one thing about Quasar in this build. He's kind of just an end game, a means to an end to secure game once you know you can take the win. Because otherwise, you're really better off not going for the Quasar. You're better off just putting pressure up with Crystal Wing and Stardust Warrior by themselves, and then finishing the job of Quasar. That's why I prefer the Jet Warrior float. If we had another extra deck plus, we'd play both, but we don't have the room, so it's a matter of you gotta pick one or the other. Anyway, it's on to the replays. And the first one up? Yeah. When this is the first replay, you know we're in for a fun time, in huge air quotes. Lightsworn Orchist. So, this match got a bit weird. Neither of us really went off.
No one is you. Keep on your duel. My turn.
And yeah, if you want to know how much experimenting I was doing with the new ban list, that's part of the reason why this took about 28 attempts. Yeah, I was experimenting a lot, can't you tell? It took figuring out new builds, finding the right ratios, all that good stuff. So, yeah, somehow, Lightsworn Orchist actually bricked on the opening hand. Weird.
Each card has power waiting to be unleashed.
So, right away I'm sending the Mono Synchron to get out Synchron Carrier, because that can come in clutch sometimes. Tuning, attempting to mill the Junk Converter, unfortunately don't get it.
Know what to do. I summon him, I flip over my face down card.
And that's why I played the Synchron Carrier first. I did not want to risk, well, Cosmic happening.
The tuner monster junk Synchron defense.
So we bring back Mono Synchron as just an extra defensive measure.
Wearing the marks of endless wars, his spirit.
And yeah, there's that orchestrated babble I was talking about, by the way. One of the rare times where Scarred Warrior's battle capabilities actually come up. And it's purely because we both bricked. Imagine that.
Scarred warrior, attack! I end my turn.
My tingles are tingling. Be careful.
So, next turn comes around, and he banishes Orcus Brass Bombard. One of the rare times you will see this card in an Orcus build at all.
Summon a monster.
And honestly, I wish we got to see it more. Brass Bombard is actually cool. Yes, an Orcus card I don't hate. Figure that one out. And no, that's not because it's a tuner.
It's my turn. I draw. I need your help.
So, it's go time.
My monster's effect.
Synchron Explorer, bring back the junk Synchron. And remember how I said that the monster effect negation on Mono Synchron does not matter? Yeah, that just came into play here. Yeah, even with the effect negated, you still have to treat every monster as level 1. So we just get Formula Synchron anyway. I don't know why, but it's funny.
Formula Synchron's effect activate. I set a card. I need your help. I synchro summon a monster.
But with that, we're just going to do Formula Synchron into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Sadly, I did not get the Cosmic, so I just kind of had to play this out normally.
I activate my monster's effect.
The pointless 100 attack point gain.
My tingles are tingling.
I draw. I know what to do.
Right in Hand of the Light Sworn.
My monster's effect.
Simple Skeleton tries to bring back Orcus Nightmare. Crystal Wing says no.
I activate my monster's effect.
Banish the Orcus Nightmare. Chain Formula Synchron to force the resolution.
Strike with a fist that crushes the strongest steel. Excel Synchro. Appear, Stardust Warrior. I lose. As a duelist,
And yeah, because that was a Book of Moon, Harp Horror banished to get Simple Skeleton out, or any Orcus for that matter, would have done nothing. This would have been one of those games where Quasar got to come out and play. But next up, we get somebody who really does not know how to read card effects. This is Sealed Tombs Orcus. One might call it Ishizu Orcus, because really, that's the only thing you're using Ishizu for, is Sealed Tombs. So yay, Graveyard Floodgating.
I'll prove that nothing and no one is useless. Duel.
So, this is the reason why I play Synchron Explorer myself.
Tuning.
Hands like this, where you only see a tuning or a junk Synchron. Then you can still guarantee you at least have Crystal Wing.
Here's my face down call. I'm counting on you. I activate my monster's effect. The tuner monster.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see why Crystal Wing is so polarizing and over-centralizing. Catapult Warrior.
I activate a continuous
Bring back the
effect.
junk Synchron,
tuner
we know how this
monster
goes.
Okay. I
Straight to
synchro
Crystal Wing,
summon a
you know the
monster.
drill.
I set a card.
So here's the thing, I choose to set the Book of Moon and the Forbidden
I
Lands.
draw. Very well. I summon my monster's effect.
Scrap
activate.
Recycler, Crystal Wing says no.
I activate my monster's effect.
I set a card. I end my turn.
Triple
It's
back
my
row.
turn.
Yay.
I draw. I'll set a monster.
Set the Synchron Carrier because it's just not going to do anything.
Take this.
I shall
My monster
extinguish.
attacks
Flips
direct.
Crackdown. You might think I Forbidden Lance here. No. I actually want to let that
I
happen.
end my turn.
My
You'll
turn.
see why.
I draw.
Draw phase comes around, flip Forbidden
I
Lance.
flip over my face down card.
Here's
I
my
activate
face
a quick
down
play
card.
spell.
He tries to reduce the attack with
Spell.
another Lance, but remember, unaffected by other spell and trap cards.
I activate a quick play spell.
Try to Book of Moon, that fails miserably. And Scoop, I had Cosmic anyway, so what does it matter?
The power of my bond over yours was the determining factor.
Yeah, that's why you read card effects. Just saying. Alright, next up. Yeah, that also just goes to show 99.9999999% of Orcus are carried. And you might be expecting Hero Alliance here. I did too. And then I saw this.
Jaden, I know you and I will have a fun duel. Duel!
Yeah,
My turn.
no Hero Alliance. So I figured Omni Heroes. Nope. We're dealing with S-Force.
Check this out. I activate my monsters effect. Join me. I special summon a monster. I activate my monsters.
And this is already a really stacked board.
I activate
We
my
got Platina
monsters
to
effect.
reduce attack. We have Edge Razor to make it so that Link 3 or higher Link summons are not possible.
I'll throw down
But the
a
big problem
my turn.
is Gravitino.
I draw.
Each of your opponent's monsters in the same column as one of your S-Force monsters is banished when it leaves the field. They set S-Force Chase, top deck the Cosmic,
From my hand, I activate a
Book of
quick
Moon the
play spell.
Gravitino,
Witness the bond with my cards.
and we can play the game. S-Force is basically mainly on the rise to deal with Orcus.
Here's my face down card. I'm counting on you.
So,
I
I initially intended to do something completely different, but then I misplayed,
The tuner
and then I
monster
realized,
jumps
wait a minute,
Synchro summon a monster.
I can use the tuning as a bluff.
Level 5. I activate a continuous spell.
So,
The
just
tuner
climb into
monster
Crystal
jumps
Wing, you know the
what
drill.
to do. I synchro summon a monster. I
Set
a card.
2,
I'll set a card. I'm not scared, you'll take this. I activate my monster's effect.
and Gravitino is gone. I actually preferred going for Gravitino there because he's the biggest threat,
I draw.
because of the banish. I could have gone for the damage, but
Summon
this
a
was just the better
monster.
play.
I throw down a face down. I'll give it my
So,
best shot.
tie that binds.
Battle.
2500 attack, sure, but you're swinging a level 6 monster into Crystal Wing.
I activate my monster's effect.
Why did people not read that effect?
I end my
I won't
turn.
let you win this.
I don't know why that worked, but we take those.
I draw. I activate my spell card. Tuning.
Play the tuning,
From my hand. I activate
build
a
converter,
quick
not that
play
I
spell.
need it. Cosmic, just in case that's chase.
Slow down.
It's compulsory.
I flip over my face down card. I activate.
So
a
there goes
card.
Crystal Wing.
The tuner monster jump synchron's effect. Okay.
Junk Synchron into basic line, he tries to chain
Activate my monsters
the
effect.
Chiyomaru,
I activate a quick
and
play spell.
Chalice just says no. So no cards in hand, no way to stop me from going off.
Spirit still burns. Synchro summon. Scarred warrior. I activate my monster's effect. The tuner monster jumps. The hopes of the world coalesce into a single star.
And since this is, as far as I know, the only time this animation shows up in the climb, we'll let it play out.
Take flight. Stardust Dragon.
At least I'm pretty sure that's the case. And also, yeah, this would have been the only time that Quasar gets to come out in this entire climb. Remember what I said about him being a means to an end? And you don't summon him otherwise? This is why.
Witness the bond with my card.
So, let's say he wasn't stupid there and remembered the Crystal Wing effect.
Up here, Black Rose Dragon.
I swing into, I believe it's... what's the thing's name?
Witness
Platina?
the bond.
Your moves are super sweet, you say?
No matter how difficult the duel, you faced it with a smile. I will take
And then
that
into the
to heart,
Chiyomaru. At that point, he's got nothing. So, even if he wasn't stupid and actually read the Crystal Wing effect, I had game anyway. Because really, what can you do when you have an Omni Negate on board in that situation? You just lose. But now it's time to fulfill the need for speed. Because we're dealing with Speedroid. And here's the thing. I'm convinced he threw here. Because he tried to get saucy.
Nothing and no one is useless.
You want to know my dueling strategy? It's to win. You're in for it now. My turn. I activate my monsters effect.
Win the wind channeler. Pitch the horse stilts, I believe that is. Because yes, this guy was playing horse stilts, which is weird.
I just don't do.
Clearbang Excel, Mill Bedenden Daiko, Special Summon Terratop,
Terratop's effect activates.
adds double yo-yo.
Speedroid double yo-yo. I activate double yo-yo's effect.
So with this, he has a clear path to a Crystal Wing Clearwing endboard.
Beat your wings to whip up a whirlwind of destruction. I Synchro Summon. Level 7 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon.
Why don't we let this animation play out too, why don't we? Because you're not going to see it very often otherwise. Most people will just smash through this, because Speedroid gets boring after a while. And it was kind of weak. Too similar to Stardust. Anyway, yeah, Speedroid gets really boring after a while.
Speed Recovery.
He just plays Speed Recovery. I don't know why.
Double yo-yo. Go supersonic and break every speed barrier that exists. I Synchro Summon.
Gives up the Crystal Wing to play High Speedroid Hagoida.
Hit the accelerator level 5 High Speedroid Hagoida. I'm ending my turn.
And doesn't even bring out a second Clear Wing.
I draw.
I don't know why he played it like this, but this opened up the door for me.
Quick play spell. Witness the
And even better, I had full combo. Because with Converter, a Tuner, and Carrier, this works. So we're gonna mill whatever our Tuner is to add the other one to our hand. He plays Artifact Lancia, probably because he's thinking of Orcus, I don't know why. Play Converter, put the Mono Synchron in the graveyard, add Junk Synchron, and we're in place. We're gonna first normal summon our Synchron Carrier, and then use the extra normal summon to get out Junk Synchron. That's gonna let you activate and bring back the Junk Converter to your side of the field. Use the Junk Synchron and the Junk Converter to Synchro Summon Catapult Warrior to your extra monster zone. Or Scarred Warrior, pick either one. But Catapult Warrior is preferred.
Level 5, Catapult Warrior.
You see why I didn't go Junk Warrior now?
I activate a continuous.
Anyway, use the Synchro Chase to bring back Junk Synchron, and the Junk Converter to bring back Mono Synchron. Next, we're going to use the Mono Synchron and the Synchron Carrier being treated as level 1 to Synchro Summon Formula Synchron.
The Synchro Tuner Formula Synchron.
Draw your one card, set whatever back row you might have, then use Junk Synchron and Catapult Warrior to Synchro Summon your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Ideally, this is the best end board you can ask for.
I'm not scared to attack. Let's battle. Go! I attack with my monster. I activate my monster's effect.
So we just have a monster negate face off. Crystal Wing wins here.
I activate my monster's effect.
Or Diachronic Mirror in the Japanese version there, by the way.
I end my turn.
Here I go. I draw.
So here's the situation.
My hand.
Cosmic Cyclone, that's kind of whatever,
I knew you
because I'm just going to flip the Lance anyway.
I flip over my face down card.
Not like it matters, just saying. Banished Den Den Daiko, Crystal Wing says no.
Formula Synchro
Chain Formula Synchron, he can't respond to this because of Synchro Chase.
Strike with a fist that crushes the strongest steel.
This forces the Stardust Warrior into play here.
Appear! Stardust Warrior! I knew you'd try that.
Chain Synchro Chase here,
I'm counting on you.
and bring back Crystal Wing.
I activate speed recovery's effect for my graveyard.
You'll notice something. He surrenders right here.
I'll pay you back in double, triple.
This is the strength.
So, let's say he Synchro Summons and goes into Kite Drake. Stardust Warrior negates that, and then Crystal Wing negates the Kite Drake in the graveyard. Yes, by doing this, you can get 2 negates with 1 Crystal Wing. Or, if he just goes for Clear Wing, Stardust Warrior negates, Hagoida can't run me over. Yeah, either way, he couldn't play the long game. I don't know why he didn't go for double Clear Wing for, like, Crystal Wing Clear Wing end board. He had a clear path to it. But I'll take it. Yeah, why didn't he do that? I'm still baffled by that. But for the final replay, I'm gonna be honest with you, this was luck. Because this matchup was already a pain for us previously, now we lose even harder.
Duel lives within me.
There's the Hero Alliance.
Jaden, I know you and I will have a fun duel.
I know you love duel monsters as much as me. Let's get our game on, you say?
Duel! It's go time. I activate my spell card.
Add tuning in the hopes of milling the
A duelist's job is to get
Junk
life to
Converter?
their cards.
didn't mill it. But we did mill a level 2.
I flip over my face down. The tuner monster Junk Synchron's effect.
So, worst case scenario, we still get our Crystal Wing.
I special summon a monster. I synchro summon a monster. Level 5.
Catapult Warrior.
Catapult Warrior.
And yeah, you may notice,
I activate a continuous
Quasar didn't come out once yet. Technically, he would have versus S-Force and the Lightsworn Orchest earlier, but they surrendered before he could.
I synchro summon a monster.
Probably because they knew. Straight to Crystal Wing.
I set a card. I'll set a card. I end my turn.
My turn. I draw. Come out.
Luckily, thank God, he did not have Neos or Summoner's
My
Art.
monster's effect.
Tries to activate Solid Soldier. Crystal Wing says no.
I activate my monster's effect.
And I don't know what happened here, but
Super sweet, you say?
No
He
matter
just
how
scooped.
difficult the duel, you faced it with a smile. I will
did he
take
just
that
not
to
have
heart,
back row
Jake.
he could have played? I'm not sure. But regardless, yeah. Of all the ways to rank up, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be that. But at this point, I was willing to take it. Anyway, so final thoughts on this particular build. You may notice, except for times where they surrendered before it could have happened, Quasar doesn't often get to come out. Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems with this build, and that's one of the biggest problems with Synchro Summoning in general right now. It's way too over-centralized around Crystal Wing, and if you can, Stardust Warrior. It's pretty much these two that are taking control of the game most of the time, and if you can't recover from that to get your Quasar, you're kinda screwed. Additionally, One other problem I have with this build personally is it loses harder to Hero Alliance than it already lost in the first place. Granted, Hero Alliance is broken, but still. But this build does work. It's consistent. I just don't know. It feels like you have to get too much going to get the full main combo. Mind you, it does work. It can come up. But the reason we play the 2 Synchron Explorers is in case it doesn't. So, it works. It's consistent. I just feel like its board presence is too one-note. You know what you're going for. You know what you have to go for. And the only time you deviate is against Odd Eyes. Instead of Crystal Wing, you go Stardust, Dragon, and Formula. Otherwise, you're just sitting on Crystal Wing and hoping to God that's enough. Which most of the time against Odd Eyes it won't be. But nonetheless, yeah, if you can't tell, this build works, and I do think it's really good at combating the current metagame. It just sucks that it's so centralized around the Crystal Wing, and to an extent Stardust Warrior as well. Rather than actual, like, Stardust, Dragon, and Quasar plays. And that's the biggest negative of this build. Quasar, as powerful as he is, rarely gets to see play. He's just there pretty much to end the game. That's just about it, really. And so that's why I kind of prefer the Jet Warrior float instead of the Shooting Star float. You can choose Shooting Star if you want, but just in case, you know? Well, with that, I don't have anything else to say about this build. It's pretty good, it's definitely consistent, and I do like it quite a bit. Hopefully, either Jet or Tuning gets Limit 2'd or put off the list altogether, so we can go back to the Tatsunoko combos, and at that point, we'll be at full power. But until the next video, whatever it may be, later guys.